This guy is bigger, he is stronger, he is faster, and yes, he's even smarter. And that's number 46, Jack Campbell for the Detroit Lions. Man, Jack isn't just knocking on the door anymore. He's kicking it down. That's right. We're talking about the Detroit Lions, man. This defense is shifting in a hurry. Now, the veteran leader, Alex Anzalone, has held this throne for a long time. Now, a new king, in my opinion, a new king is rising. This guy is rising faster than anybody expected in Detroit. And that's Jack Campbell, man. I firmly believe that this is the moment, that this is the season that Jack Campbell dethrones Alex Anzalone as the leader of the defense. So I wanted to get into this video because there's been a lot of conversation about Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell, and really, is Alex even going to be part of the team this year? And what we don't know right now is what's happening with Alex Anzalone's contract. But I wanted to bring some substance to this topic. It's been a hot topic now for a few weeks, ever since the report dropped that there might have potentially been some issues with Alex Anzalone's contract. I mean, same kind of stuff that was said about Penei Sewell that didn't end up being true. So let's kind of break this down. Look, Jack is, man, he's catching some big-time praise, but he was catching the same kind of praise this time last year by Kelvin Sheppard. And it was early last season that Jack Campbell was looking, I guess, looked at as a leader on the defense already, right? On the field, year 2, it was before week 1, and Kelvin Sheppard, I mean, he said that the confidence was there, right? And Kelvin had the confidence in Jack last year. Now imagine what that confidence was last season for Sheppard and for Campbell, and what it is now that Kelvin Sheppard is the defensive coordinator. Here's a quote by Kelvin Sheppard to kind of explain that. He says, "Well, I'm telling you, it's on another level, man. This guy here is operating like an 8-year vet as far as making the calls. How he sets the standard of how we practice as a defense. I think other guys are starting to look towards him now." That's pretty impactful, right? That's a pretty big statement about a second-year linebacker who didn't get a ton of time as the Mike in year 1, but in year 2 started to get a little bit more time, and a lot more time as the season kind of weighing down due to injury. Now Jack and Kelvin Sheppard, they've really built this strong bond. It was during Jack's first 2 seasons that Sheppard really began mentoring Jack and to become the starting Mike linebacker. I mean, it happened right away, right? It didn't just kind of start last year. This has been going on really from day 1 since Jack arrived after being selected number 18th overall in the 2023 NFL draft. Now, this relationship, I think, is going to be a huge advantage for the Lions and the defense. Now that Jack and Sheppard really have full control over this defense. Alex is out currently, and Sheppard is he's the leader, man. He has full control over this defensive system. So this is a big relationship. I think it's a meaningful relationship. And again, I think that this quote, about Jack Campbell, it's impactful. And here's another one. He says, this is Jack Campbell talking about the reverse here, about Kelvin Sheppard. He says, it's been good for me coming in and having to work with him so closely to now have him as the coordinator. I feel like it allows me to know what he's thinking going into a game week. I'm really excited about that. So off schedule for just a moment. I didn't write this part of the video. I didn't even think about that. The fact that they've been working so closely together, right, that now Jack really knows what Kelvin is thinking. And that's kind of the same thing that Dan Campbell was saying about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and some of the other guys that, this is my team right now. And then once everybody kind of gets on the same page throughout the summer, it becomes their team. It becomes the players' team. Like, they know what I want to do. Same thing being said here for Jack and Kelvin. Here's my statement, I guess, as to why Jack is going to dethrone Alex. And it's multifaceted, but the Lions, they've been without their top 4 linebackers this spring. And it's not because of anything else other than injuries and surgeries and possibly some contractual situations. Anzalone did not take part in the voluntary part of the OTAs. Matter of fact, he didn't take part in anything. And while some speculated it was due to contract issues, which I get, right? Alex has rarely stepped on the field for any voluntary OTAs. So I don't know that we can really hold that against him. Does that make sense? Now, Jack, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, they're all recovering from some sort of an offseason, either injury or a surgery. In Jack's case, he had a minor, cleanup surgery, and we'll get into that too. Now, the downside to many, of the guys missing so early in practice or, the OTAs is that Kelvin Sheppard is now the DC, right? You kind of want to be there to help lead the team into a new direction, a new defense, understand everything that's being asked of you. I guess the other side of that is Alex pretty much knows what's going on, right? He's been around all of these guys for a long time. Now, the only upside that I could really draw here, like I said, is these guys, they've been there for a long time. They know what he expects. And according to it, to Kelvin, it's like they, and Jack, they know what each other's thinking. So it's a good thing. I do want to note this, that Jack not participating in OTAs because of, the concern after undergoing what he called, a little hip procedure, a little cleanup procedure. I don't think that we should really be concerned about that at all. I mean, he did sit out position and team drills at the Lions' third OTAs, this spring, but he did say that he was going to take part in every walkthrough that he could. And actually a quote of his was, every walkthrough session that I can be in. So Jack's been there putting in the work that he can put in. He also followed that up with, if I could, I'd be out there, and I'm out there trying to do all I can do right now. So Jack Campbell's in it, man. He's trying to do it. He also noted around the same time that he spoke with Alex, and he's had some pretty good conversation with Alex. Here's his quote. He says, I've talked to Alex. He's doing really good. I got a lot of respect for him and everything that he's about. Obviously, he's not here right now, but I mean, it's totally up, between him and everyone in the Lions organization. He's done a lot of great things for us. He's a team captain. I can't say enough good things about him. So that's between him and the Lions. And it's none of my business. And I got everyone's back and everyone up from Alex to the organization. There's no bad blood between nobody. Good statement, right? Good statement as a leader of this team to make sure that nobody has any bad blood. So I try to break down some analysis for you guys, get into some stats and the facts like I always do. And this is a very, very simple thing for me. I think that Jack Campbell's growth and his performance over the last couple of seasons is exactly, well, one, Campbell took his game to the next level, but it's also exactly why I believe that Jack is definitely going to dethrone Alex this year. I mean, it's really not even close when you look at the numbers. From a versatility perspective, I think Alex has that. From a knowledge perspective, I think that Alex has that veteran presence. I think Jack is head and shoulders above Alex. I really do. And I'm sure not a lot of you agree with me, and that's okay. Let me know in the comments. I'm all good to listening to the criticism. Like, seriously, let me have it. It's all good. You tell me, is Jack going to overtake Alex Anzalone this year as a leader of this defense? Is Alex going to kind of get phased out? Is this his last season? If he even does make it this season, if he does play this season. Let's take a listen to Sean Dion Hamilton here about Jack Campbell.
I saw Jack has grown a lot from year one to year two. You see maybe less thinking out there. The game is slowing down for him. And now even going from year two to year three, when you watch the self-scout and stuff like that, you see him really taking that next step. Like I said, big thing is like thinking, I think from coming from college to the pros, obviously college, their offenses are a little different. The field's different. The concepts are differently. So now he's getting his feet under him. I think the first thing is I know Jackson, he's a freaking works extremely hard, a big student of the game, And so now that we're sitting back and we're seeing things slowing down, that's from a pass coverage perspective or even that's from a run fit wise where I can see him taking the next steps now like already in the offseason from the questions he's asking, even going to the practice field. You can see that, okay, things are slowing down tremendously for him.
Man, that's just another great statement from another coach, another player coach, right, that has seen a lot out of Jack Campbell, has seen the growth, and now being one of the linebacker coaches and having that first, rate, look in at what he's doing each and every day, that speaks volumes. Now, I think another important thing to note here is that when Alex fractured his forearm, week 11, he missed 6 games. It was last season, right? And that absence, I believe, allowed Jack to kind of step up and finally take those reins and say, look, man, this is my defense now, and I'm not letting it go. And I don't think that Jack's going to let it go. This is all about competition. Like Jack said, no bad blood, right? There's no bad blood, but it's time for me to do what I was brought here to do. This was the eventual plan, right? Jack Campbell was supposed to take over for Alex Anzalone at some point. That could be this year. I'm kind of guessing that it's going to be this year. I think that it is now Jack's team. Now, again, I think that Jack playing every game, stepping into that leadership role, and, when Alex was out, I think that showed tremendous growth. And not only that, maturity, man. And if this is a glimpse at the future of the position, oh, man, future's bright, right? I think we're looking good. Now, Jack wasn't just a fill-in. I've kind of heard that around, too, that, no, he's just filling space for Alex. No, he was one of the best linebackers in the entire league last season. I don't think enough of you have looked at the stats lately, but I did, and I'm going to bring him to light today because Jack was definitely one of the better linebackers, better than Alex to a degree. So here's a snapshot at his stats, and I'm going to outline more here in just a second, but 131 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 5 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble. It made him one of only 4 linebackers in the NFL to hit those marks. 1 of 4. That's pretty good company to be in, yeah? 1 of 4. Now, Alex Anzalone may be an afterthought after 2025. He may not be right now, but I think he will be after 2025. Jack Campbell has kind of made his case, right? He's here, and he's going to dethrone Alex Anzalone in 2025 as a signal caller for this season and beyond in Detroit. All right, here's the stats. You know what? Let me just throw this in there real quick. Just thinking about this for a moment. Let's say Alex does come back to the team. And let's say he does get a new contract. What is that contract going to look like? Because Derek Barnes just got a decent contract, but nowhere near, some of the top contracts in the league for linebackers. What is Alex really looking for? And so I did do a little bit of work here too. And I want to talk about that first, I think. So Alex's contract that he signed in 2021, I believe, was it? No, 2023. I'm sorry. Excuse me. 3 years, $18.75 million. Exactly what I thought he was going to get, $6 million a year. And now he's in the final year of that contract. He wants more money. Of course he does. Especially after Derek Barnes got a nice pay raise and he believes he should be paid more than that, which he should be. And I agree with him. Here's the comps that I pulled and the ages that were fairly close to Alex and what they're getting paid. And this is what the Lions are probably going to have to pay. So here's my guess on the potential contract extension for Alex Anzalone. Robert Spillane, he'll be 30 during the season, $11 million on average. TJ Edwards, he'll be 29 this season, $10 million APY. And then Blake Cashman, right, just up north in Minnesota, he'll be 29 this season. Now he's only making $7.5 million, which is still a bump higher than what Alex is making. Now Derek Barnes, he's getting $24 million over 3, so $8 million APY. Now if I were to take a guess, I would say that Alex is probably going to accept no less than 2 years, $20 million on an extension, a 2-year, $20 million extension. Or it could just be a 1-year bump and say, give him, $3 million more for the rest of the season. And then that's it. Either way, I don't see the Lions budging on more than $10 million a year. And I really don't see them trying to do a lengthy contract with him, knowing that his age is not in his favor, even though he's just, he's full of piss and vinegar, as they like to say. The dude's full of energy. But I would say that it's probably time to stay younger at this position, which is what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have been doing. Here's the stats. All right, 14th overall in run defense for Jack Campbell last year. Breakout season, man. Huge season for him. 9th in pass coverage, 10th overall defensive grade. 10th. Let that sink in. In 2024 versus all linebackers in the league, Jack was 10th. 14th against the run, 9th against the pass. And you still got problems with picking this guy at 18th overall? He's doing this in year 2. That's crazy. Pass rush stat, not great for either of these guys, right? But I think that we have to take a look at, what AG was having these guys do. They weren't blitzing a ton, but when they were, it was kind of later in the season. And throughout the season, these guys were tasked with stopping the run, shutting down the pass in their vicinity. But pass rush stats for both of these guys, Jack was 70th in the league. Alex was 58th. So neither one of them great in pass rush. I think that'll change under Calvin Shepard. Here's Alex's stats. He was 35th overall defense. Jack had him by 25 spots. But he was also 10th in pass. Jack had him by 1 spot. He was 9th. But he was 66th in run defense, where Jack had him by 52 spots. Considerably better linebacker last year, Jack Campbell. Considerably better. Now, Jack also had the 19th most defensive snaps in the league for linebackers last season. 1,047. That's a ton of work. Which, Alex suffered that broken forearm. And I guess the stat comparison doesn't work a whole lot, but I think that the focus needs to be that Jack performed very well, open to close, week 1 to week 18, right? Or, into the postseason with that snap count. Now, had he only done that in 500 snaps, I'd say can't trust it. But he did it for 1,047 snaps. And if you go back the year before, he's a huge improvement for Jack. Look, man, everyone out there, you tell me in the comments, is Jack going to dethrone Alex Anzalone? Do you believe that Alex will be back in 2025? And if you do, I'd like to know what that contract looks like. Tell me your contract ideas for Alex Anzalone. Here's the one thing that I do know. The battle for dominance is here. And Jack Campbell is ready to take over as a leader of this defense. So buckle up, because this is the future of Detroit. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.